Fans of The Lord of the Rings have always known Elrond as a stoic and wise figure, one who possesses great foresight and resolve. This resolve becomes evident during the iconic scene in the Fellowship of the Ring, where Elrond, Hugo-weaving, urges Isildur to cast the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom, only for Isildur to keep it instead. Elrond's disappointment in Isildur's failure to destroy the ring isn't just a matter of hindsight. It represents a deep mistrust and understanding of the corruptive power of Sauron's creations, particularly the rings. As Season 2 of The Rings of Power unfolds, viewers see that Elrond's fixation on destroying the rings didn't start with Isildur's failure. His mistrust of these objects of power has a long history, deeply rooted in his past and his relationships with other characters, like Galadriel. But why is Elrond so fixated on destroying the Rings of Power, even before the full extent of Sauron's deception is revealed? To understand Elrond's motivations, it's crucial to dive into his past experiences, his relationships, and his growing distrust of Sauron, which builds through the first season and becomes even more central in Season 2. In a recent interview, Robert Aramayo, who portrays a young Elrond in The Rings of Power, shared insights into the character's growing mistrust of the Rings of Power. According to Aramayo, Elrond begins to piece together Sauron's deception by the end of Season 1. While he doesn't have all the information at that point, the signs of Sauron's manipulation become evident, particularly around anything that Sauron may have had a hand in creating. As Aramayo explains, Elrond definitely is of the mindset that if Sauron has been anywhere near anything that we've created, then it's tarnished and evil. He doesn't underestimate the manipulative ability, the power that Sauron has. This growing mistrust of the rings comes from a place of caution. Elrond is wise enough to understand the scope of Sauron's power. He knows that the Dark Lord has a unique ability to corrupt even the purest of things, twisting them to serve his own dark purposes. So when it comes to the rings that Sauron had a hand in creating, even if they were meant to be a force for good, Elrond cannot help but see them as inherently dangerous. This mindset becomes the foundation for Elrond's actions in Season 2. He is driven by the belief that anything touched by Sauron must be destroyed, even if it means making difficult and uncomfortable decisions. This determination, however, is not without inner conflict, particularly when it comes to those he holds dear. One of the most fascinating aspects of Elrond's journey in the Rings of Power is his complex relationship with Galadriel Morfydd Clark. As Season 2 opens, Elrond and Galadriel find themselves at odds. While they were close allies in Season 1, the choices Galadriel made and her intense drive to defeat Sauron create tension between the two. This conflict is not just about opposing viewpoints on how to handle Sauron's threat, but about something deeper, the bond they share. Elrond's connection to Galadriel runs deep. As Aramayo puts it, he's in conflict because of how much he cares for her. He loves her as well. So he's got conflict not with her decision-making, perhaps, although that is definitely true. He's also got conflict with the fact that he cares so much about her. This emotional conflict is pivotal in understanding Elrond's actions in Season 2. On the one hand, he fully trusts Galadriel's instincts and knows she is a powerful and capable leader. On the other hand, her willingness to engage with the very power that he so deeply mistrusts leaves him conflicted. How can he reconcile his love and respect for her with his fear of what these rings, and by extension, Sauron, represent? For Elrond, this is not just a matter of personal betrayal. It's about the future of Middle-earth. If someone as wise and powerful as Galadriel could be swayed or corrupted by the power of the rings, what hope is there for anyone else? This thought fuels his fixation on destroying the rings, even if it means opposing those he cares for most. Elrond's internal struggles go beyond his relationship with Galadriel. Throughout the series, it becomes clear that Elrond values the relationships he has built with others, whether it's with Galadriel, Gil, Galad, or Durin. These connections are central to his identity, and they often guide his decisions. However, in Season 2, the complexity of these relationships begins to weigh heavily on him. As Aramayo suggests, Elrond often builds his foundation on the people around him. When those relationships become strained or challenged, it forces him to reconsider his own beliefs and choices. This is especially true in his dynamic with Galadriel. So, when it gets so complex with Galadriel, it's so challenging because of how he feels about her. Elrond's decision to mistrust the rings, and by extension Galadriel's choices, does not come easily. It's a struggle between his loyalty to his friends and his duty to protect Middle-earth. At times, these two forces are in direct opposition, leaving Elrond to navigate the murky waters of personal and political conflict. Elrond's fixation on destroying the Rings of Power is not just about eliminating Sauron's influence. It represents a larger theme in The Lord of the Rings, the corruptive nature of power and the importance of resisting temptation. The rings, much like the One Ring itself, symbolize the seductive nature of power. Even when used with good intentions, these objects can easily lead to darkness. Elrond understands this better than anyone, having witnessed firsthand the destruction that unchecked power can cause. This knowledge drives his actions throughout Season 2. Elrond sees the Rings of Power as a ticking time bomb, one that could bring ruin to Middle-earth if left unchecked. His mistrust is not based on paranoia, but on a deep understanding of the stakes involved. For Elrond, the cost of keeping rings is simply too high. As Season 2 of the Rings of Power continues to unfold, it becomes clear that Elrond's journey is one of growth and realization. While he begins the series as a trusted advisor and diplomat, his experiences with Sauron's manipulation and the corruption of the rings force him to take on a more proactive role in the fight against evil. This shift in Elrond's character is one of the most compelling aspects of the show. No longer content to stand on the sidelines, Elrond becomes a driving force in the battle to destroy the Rings of Power. His journey is one of learning to balance his personal loyalties with his duty to protect Middle-earth, a theme that resonates deeply with audiences. In the Rings of Power Season 2, Elrond's fixation on destroying the rings stems from a combination of mistrust, personal conflict, and a deep understanding of the corruptive nature of power. His mistrust of Sauron's influence grows as he pieces together the Dark Lord's deception, and his inner turmoil only intensifies due to his close bond with Galadriel. Elrond's struggle is not just about destroying the rings, it's about navigating the complex relationships that define his world. His loyalty to his friends, his love for Galadriel, and his duty to Middle-earth all pull him in different directions, leaving him with difficult choices to make. As viewers continue to follow Elrond's journey in the Rings of Power, it's clear that his fixation on the rings is more than just a desire to defeat Sauron. It's about protecting the world from the corruptive forces of power and ensuring that Middle-earth remains free from the shadow of evil.